You finished essay one. You even practiced doing a thesis statement based on a lecture I gave. Now I want to talk about what we're doing next. And that is we're going to work on our research essay. Before we turn in the research essay, we will turn in an annotated bibliography. But that is the main assignment we will do for the rest of the semester, meaning after we finish this research essay, then all you have to do is write a reflective essay and we're through with the semester. So this is the rest of the, 8 weeks we have left. So this is what's happening next. What makes me angry? This is the essay that you just finished writing, and that was essentially a draft of this larger project we're going to do. The total assignment is called the research essay, and it is already posted in Blackboard. When you look at the assignment, you will see we already did steps 1, 2, and 7. Now we're going to expand it to make it much longer. If you look at the requirements, it says it needs to be 4 pages. You probably did 2 pages at the most, so we're going to double in size, but quite frankly, we're going to make it better. You're going to add multiple sources and overall just review your argument and make it stronger. The next steps we're going to do are steps 3 and 4. So step 3, this is the requirement, is that you look for a model of good writing. So you find one that someone who has written something that you were persuaded by, that you found persuasive. It can be anywhere. But I need you to find a model. The idea is that as we study models of good writing, we start to understand better how we might put our own essays together. So when you look at the assignment sheet, you will find this paragraph there. It's step 3, and I ask you that you get this by Monday, that you have an example of good writing by then. I want to quickly point out, though, that we've already talked about models of good writing, Brene Brown, right, and Anne Lamott. And so I encourage you to review their rhetorical frameworks that you did for Lamott and that we did together for Brown. Brown of course, did hers orally, and Lamott had hers written down, which I think is much easier to work with because you can point to specific passages, etc. And I've listed what you and I talked about that made Brene Brown effective and what made Anne Lamott effective. These are the kind of the highlights of these previous models of good writing. So where do we find models of good writing? And the answer is, the first bullet here, is anywhere at all. They can be in any magazine, in any newspaper, chapters in books, but you probably want to keep yours very short because you don't want to do a lot of work on this. So I would try to find a short argument. Who does a nice short argument? So as part of 101, the library provides an orientation to the library. And because of the situation we're in, this has to happen via online, right? It has to happen digitally. So a woman named Louise Fluke, who is a librarian, she is going to try to help us. And she asked today for your email addresses. So she, I think, is going to try to email you instructions about how you might find these good sources. I think she put together some kind of form of information for you. But the last bullet here is that where you find it is less important than the fact that it is good writing. So just make sure that it is. The whole point is that Miss Fluke can get to, by using the databases, you are much more likely to find an example of good writing because the library does the filtering for you to find good sources. So using her example would be helpful, but you don't have to wait for it. The most important thing, again, is you find a piece of writing that you found persuasive. My only suggestion is you keep it short. And this bottom bullet here, just make sure you save the link because you're going to have to send that to me when you send me your rhetorical framework of that model a good model. So, because step 4 is, right here, step 4, is to break down the examples you find of people arguing a position, which we're going to do that in the form of complete a rhetorical framework. We've already done these, so you know how to do these. The questions, the framework itself is found on our Blackboard page in content. We're in content here, and this is where you can find it, right? It's somewhere in this list, but right now it's the third thing on the list. So you should be able to find it. We will do a rhetorical framework of a source that you find every week for the next 3 weeks. So you will have already completed them, so you can make sure that you understand. The due date for this first one is noon on Tuesday. And again, you'll attach the link of the article there, and then you'll send me in your framework. And that way I can look at the original and look at how you assessed it to see if you're doing this accurately. If you can tell what the purpose of the title is, if you can tell who the audience is, if you can tell what the techniques are. I just want to help be a check for you. And then here's my overview of this entire process. So the annotated bibliography is really a summary of all of our rhetorical frameworks. I'm going to give you a separate assignment sheet for the annotated bibliography, and it will be due 2 weeks before the essay is due, so we have some time still to work through it. But essentially, you're going to, once you have done all your rhetorical frameworks, I'll give you an assignment sheet that tells you how to create what's called an annotated bibliography, which is essentially a summary of each article you're going to use, right? It's meant to check your sources before you add to a longer essay. So again, in the process of writing a research essay where you engage with other sources, you've already got your opinion down, what makes you angry. Now to strengthen this, you're going to find outside sources. So you're going to find these other sources, and that's what will be our rhetorical frameworks will be. For now, we're going to do our rhetorical framework for a model of good writing. That's what this whole thing is about. Right now, we're working on a model of good writing. So this is due next Tuesday, a rhetorical analysis of a model of good writing. It doesn't have to be on your topic that you wrote up your essay about. It can be about anything. But I just want you to find a model, do a rhetorical framework for it, send that to me by Tuesday. As always, if you have any questions, please email me.